We are back. We're back. I got my girl, Candice Davis Price. She's excited for this episode. She done pressed her hair and curled it at the end. She's excited for this one. This one's got true dear to her heart because she's married to a D lineman. He unfortunately made a mistake and went to the other school. But so she understands this one really well. We're doing the top 10 all-time USC D linemen. I'm going to tell you, like I was telling you before we started recording, this one was a lot harder for me to try to figure it out than I thought it would be. But you probably know everybody like 8 and up on my list, probably. No, I don't know. It was hard. It's hard to put people in places.
When you say it was hard because it is, I would say, top heavy, leaning towards my generation. And
then I also put somebody on the list, and I don't care what people say. To me, he's a D lineman, so I threw him on the list. He's classified as a linebacker, but he played stand-up end technically. So, like, he's a D lineman. Like, it doesn't matter regardless. So I put him on my list. So regardless of that, we're going to get a little bit of a backlash from that. But, I don't care. You don't care. So we're moving forward. How are you doing, Candice? Everything's good in Michigan?
Everything's real good. I think my husband was just in LA out there for some graduations, and it seems like the weather is better here than in Southern California.
Yeah, we got the May gray and June gloom, but it's actually burned off. I got my window open, so this light that I'm using right now isn't even my lights. This is the natural lighting from my window in my bedroom.
No Himalayan salt light. That's the actual light.
That's actual natural. That's God's light.
Okay. And I am really excited about the list because obviously I'm gonna keep it real. I got a little bit more sentimental, but a lot of guys on the list I personally know. And then I did a little bit of research. So, I had to outsource. So my stuff is legit today. So come for me in the comments because my stuff is real news, not fake news.
Can I ask you who your sources were? Can I ask you?
One of them is on the list.
Yeah, one of them's on the list. One of them's on the list. One of them's on the list.
And one of them probably has the guy you have listed as a linebacker because he just felt like he was one of the greatest anyway. So.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Okay, we'll see.
I don't think so. But the guy that I have, I actually have him ranked pretty high. So that's might be the little mix up. But I will say this before we get started. Let's go to the Twitter poll and let's see what the fans thought. Who is the all-time greatest D lineman at USC? Let me pull it up here. The results are in. Wow. Okay. So we had William McGinnis on the list, Leonard Williams, Sean Cody, Cedric Ellis.
So wait, should we say this before we say our list?
This is the fans. This is what the fans thought.
Okay.
This is what the fans thought. So with that being said, so not very many votes. We need more participation from you guys. You guys did better in fast weeks.
I'm gonna post it on my Instagram story right now.
All right, so let's see if we can get a live one. So it's William McGinnis, Leonard Williams. You got the tweet right?
I didn't.
All right,
send it to me right now.
I'll send it to you right now. William McGinnis, Leonard Williams, Sean Cody, Cedric Ellis. Sean Cody and Cedric got 0% votes. That's weird.
That's just because the percentage of people that should be knowing to look didn't look.
Yeah, so Leonard Williams won with 67. William McGinnis got 33%. So I'm going to send it to you right now.
Okay.
So you can put it on your live. We'll do that right now.
All right.
Oh, shit, that's Lindell.
Yeah. You got to throw that
I didn't mean it because. Hold on. I have to take my background off.
Okay, so I was at track practice setting up some hurdles and being loud, obnoxious, my usual self. And all I hear is, yo, C-Ray. And I'm like, what? I'm like, Lindell. Long story short, it'd be equivalent to Culver City, California. And we ran into each other. He was hosting a camp out here. Come to find out, the high school that I coach at, I actually coach football as well. They got the number one football recruit in the country. They won the state championship back to back. So I think it's time for them to get out there and get some real football down in Southern California or Texas because they need some.
Wait, you're coaching football?
I don't do X's and O's. I'm more like a little combination of speed, agility, injury prevention, all that kind of stuff.
So you're like the
championship mindset.
You're like the strength and conditioning coach.
So I don't want to take away from people like that are actually, but
no, or what they call them now? Speed. They have a special name for them now at college.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. Lindell's looking skinny too.
Bro, I was like, they used to call him Chunky. I'm like, what? Moving kind of nice out here.
Lindell looking skinny. He trying to get back to the league.
I'm just chilling, C-Ray. I'm just chilling. I'm like, I know you chilling.
All right, so let's jump into this thing. I will let you go first.
You sent me the link. I'm about to drop it on my Instagram right now.
Yep. And then we'll come back to it. Also, we want to talk about they released the schedule for the Big 10 for USC.
No.
Yep. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that one.
Okay. All right. No, you go first. I went first last week.
Yeah, ladies always go first. I'm a gentleman. Chivalry is not dead.
That's what my husband would say. All right. I did a little bit of research on this one because I was solid and felt good. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to take a touch from the past. So is it, I even took notes today because I was hoping somebody was coming for me. I wanted to be like, my facts is right. I got Tahj Smith.
Who?
His name, Lawrence Smith. He was one of the Wild Bunch, transferred from MSU to USC. He was one of the original Wild Bunch.
Okay.
And he was one of the first 5 Black starters at USC. That was really what had it for me.
There you go.
So, and one of fun fact, which I'm finding the dynamic between the Pac-12, which was the Pac-10, and the Big 10 right now is that this historic we've had between Michigan all these years. 1970, they took down the number 3 Wolverines and won the Rose Bowl. So we've been doing it from then. So Michigan, come and get some more.
Okay. So my number 10 is also from the original Wild Bunch.
Okay.
He's actually a well-known name, and people did not realize that he was a very good football player. Very good football player. People know him for driving the Bronco. He drove the Bronco. Yep. My number 10 is Al Coolings. Defensive end, stud football player. People do not understand how good he is. Let me look up, see where he's from. Because I think he's also from San Francisco. So him and OJ have been friends forever. And so he went to SC also.
Okay. Where did you find that fact at?
I just looked it up right now.
Who you started to fact check you?
Fact check me. He went to USC. He's from San Francisco.
And how? Okay. All right. So enlighten me a little bit about his USC football career because I didn't know he drove the Bronco. That's.
Yeah. So he drove the Bronco. That's all we need to know.
Okay.
He also got into acting. He was like all like USC so he's a Hall of Famer. I don't have stats on him. All I know is that this dude held down the edge. And he was a dude. Like people don't put it like this. People don't understand how good the original Wild Bunch was. But like the original Wild Bunch has a statue outside of Heritage Hall.
Yes. And again, there's that experience of being a student athlete that you take for granted. I walked by that statue at least 1,000,001 times running into Heritage Hall to get to tutoring on time. So I've seen it over and over again, but a couple of guys on my list definitely always paid homage to those guys. So I got a little bit of understanding of them, but yeah, that statue is there.
Yep, definitely. So that's my number 10. That's your number 10. We're going to roll to number 9. I'm going to go with my number 9.
All right.
And my number 9, this dude was a monster. He was a beast. Big guy. San Diego, California. He pretty much couldn't run up the middle on this dude. Wore 99. always when you wear 99, you're a big 99.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Big Tim Ryan.
Who?
Tim Ryan. Exactly.
Tim Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not my number 9. Enlighten me a little bit.
What would you like to know about Tim Ryan?
I don't know anything about Tim Ryan.
So Tim Ryan's from the Bay.
Okay.
He's from the Bay
Area.
He was in SC in the 90s. Okay. So they were kind of on the low in the 90s, but he was a 2-time All-American. He won 3 Rose Bowls and holds the team's season record for sacks with 20. Also started as a true freshman.
Oh, that's a big deal. That's always a big deal. The rest of your career could be a bust, but if you start as a freshman in a Division I college program, you use that deal.
Yep.
All right, so Jarrell Cassie.
Tut. Long Beach Probably High School. Looks to be a little bit after, talking to my sources, had a super strong NFL career, 5-time Pro Bowl. I know we are supposed to be focusing a little bit more on the USC career, but also when you're a USC Trojan, you're a USC Trojan for life. So what they accomplished in the league, I'll let it bleed over a little bit to why he's on my list as number 9. He's also a Jackrabbit for life. When you're a Jackrabbit, you're a Jackrabbit for life.
Did you go to Long Beach Poly?
I went to Long Beach Poly. That is correct.
Okay, so then you feel me.
Yep. And me and his brother played together.
Oh, okay. Yep. So I'm on target.
Yeah, Tut.
Okay.
Jarrell Casey. So that's your number 9. Actually, Tut is my number 8.
Oh. He's your number 8?
Yeah, he's my number 8.
Okay, so everyone at home, everyone on the radio, wherever you at, we are on 2 different time zones. We don't sit and text all the time. So these lists are really what we think they are. They are authentic to us. We don't know about each other's list until we record. We don't tell each other the list or anything. When we do the poll, I just throw out names. They're at random. And then, yeah. So, but now I will tell you this. I knew Tut was good in high school when you started. So the goal at Poly is to start as a freshman. There's very few who's done that. But like once you get off the freshman team, you want to be a sophomore and you want to make varsity. If you play JV at Poly, that's like not very good. Like you don't want to be. I guess I never envisioned them even having a JV team.
Like you don't want to play JV as a sophomore at Poly, and so like Tut played as a freshman. He played a lot as a freshman. Like I played behind Tut because I played linebacker in high school. Like so, Tut. It was actually we had a hell of a defensive line. It was Tut, his brother, my brother, and another dude named Alex, and they were all good. Like Tut's brother Ray had a scholarship to Oregon. My brother went to Oregon. Alex didn't have the grades, and then of course Tut went to USC. So that's like I remember when I went, I was like, Tut, you play like Cedric, like because he was a sophomore when I was a senior. So when I came back, it was a junior. I'm like, damn, you play like Cedric. So I'm gonna go with Tut.
Okay,
Jarrell Casey. That's my number 8.
Apparently, nicknames, so you in there with that. You've been enlightening me all night. So okay, I'm down.
Mm-hmm. Number 8 for you.
My number 8. This came directly from Desmond Reed. Tim Rosevich.
Okay.
He was one of my fillers, old school cat. Looks like he did a little bit of acting as well. I just had to throw him on there and pay homage to the old school. I thought it was cool that he had a bit of a dual career. Couldn't see too much of him, but that's what I got.
That's not bad.
That's not bad?
No, this list is harder than you think. There's a lot of good D linemen that went to USC.
And I wasn't trying to be in my feelings about the list either because I like to be in my feelings about it, but I did run into the number 1 USC running back of all time. This one now happened.
So there's going to be people who don't make the list, and you understand, like, we only had 10 spots. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
And there was actually a lot of good D linemen that went there. Before we get to number 7, I want to let you guys know it's NBA Finals time. The Nuggets are up 2-1. And if you want to get the bets in for the next game, go to betonline.ag and get you can do it from your mobile device, your computer, anywhere you need to get online gaming sports going. This weekend, there's also a big horse race, the Belmont. We got baseball, College World Series, softball World Series is going to finish up today. So you want to get live bet in on that. Get it all in. Once again, that's betonline.ag. On top of that, they're going to match your 50s. They're going to match your first deposit with 50%. All you got to do is put in promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. It's in the ticker. BetOnline.ag, where the game starts. Here we go. Number 7. We're at number 7.
What you got for number 7?
It's on you. All
right, this is one of, honestly, probably still a dear friend of mine. My husband and him are good friends. They like to have a lot of, most would say, strange intellectual. This guy studied philosophy at USC, and I wanted to go philosophy. And
I know who it is.
Like, yeah, that's not going to get you a real job unless you get a master's degree. And I was like, yeah, so I'm not going to be paying for school after this. And he went the philosophical route. I went the poli-sci route. That guy would be Lawrence Jackson.
I knew it. I was going to ask you, did he get drafted to the Lions?
He did get drafted to the Lions. 4-year starter. Started 51 out of 52 games. And, you can look his stats up. You can look his careers up. But when I tell you, one of the most genuine, authentic gentlemen you'll meet, a class act. He was part of that, second Wild Bunch group too. So I got LJ.
So LJ was hella smart. LJ had conversations in the locker room that we like
make you think.
Yeah, like, all right, like he was legit, like, yeah. So for my summer bridge class, I have philosophy. And so I was like, you have to understand philosophy. And then he found out that like a group of us had it. Next thing you know, like he's helping us with our philosophy homework. Like, oh, it's not that hard. Like,
oh yeah, that's his jam.
Yeah, like LJ is like, his mind is on a whole different level. Inglewood High School too. He's from Inglewood. Like,
oh, he is Inglewood High School. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah. LJ, that's a good pick. I play with LJ.
And he also has, I don't know if he still got it going, but he was doing like an ice cream brand, and he used his beard and the silhouette of him, and he's really trying to make a healthy transition into civilian life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, LJ, that's my guy.
It's hard to get into civilian life.
Oh, for sure. And once you are so well known, and once people define you by these stats, as we're talking, it's difficult for the general public to accept you for the new you.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, my number 7. This dude was good. He ran a 4.4. Like, he ran a 4.4, or they might have him clocked as a 4.5. He
What's
played
that?
in his.
That was yards or meters?
It was yards.
Okay.
But he ran a 4.4, explosive dude, really good. Played in Minnesota for a while, had a successful NFL career. Man, he was actually funny. I remember he was really funny. Like he'll say just off the wall random stuff. He'll say crazy stuff. He said something crazy. I can't say it on here, but he said something crazy on the plane back from Nebraska. Had the whole plane cracking up, all the way from the front to the media. Everybody was cracking up. But my number 7 is Everson Griffin.
Everson Griffin. I might have to make an audible. I'm gonna make an audible.
Okay.
I'm gonna make an audible.
Do you need a 7? Do you need a 7A? I told you.
I think he might can slide in my 6, because Everson Griffin, he was that dog. And just to be honest, and this is in the respectful way, like you gotta be a little bit off your rocker to be doing what you're doing. And he definitely embodied his position of ferocious player for a fact. Seen that in faith.
Super explosive. Yeah. Super explosive, like
strong, athletic. And when he came in, I remember being like, that's a kid. That's a grown human right there. So him and Shiloh, just throw that out there. Shiloh's big as Shrek. Like, what are they feeding you? So yeah, I'm gonna take that audible. Can I go? All right, my number 6.
Speaking of that you said that's a kid. Remind me to tell you my story of Allison and Jenny.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. He's referring to the most decorated Olympic woman athlete, and I think she is decorated of all time, not just one.
Yeah, so it was my freshman year, and Allison was walking across campus because she went to school there when she was like not doing her running stuff, and so she was walking across campus reading a book, and like I noticed her. I was like, damn, that's Allison Felix. I was like, okay, like I remember her like watching TV run track, and like I think she's like 3 years older than me, maybe 4.
Slow down, we're the same age, so don't get to counting years.
Oh,
I'm just playing. Go ahead.
Maybe I didn't know. Maybe she's 2. But all I know is I remember seeing her. So I walked. We was by Looker. So I walked by Looker. I ran to the student union, came back, and she was reading a book again. I said, "All right, forget it. I'm gonna shoot my shot." And so I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she looked at me, and she's like, "No, we're not gonna do this." I was like, "Do what?" And she's like, "You are a boy. You are a little boy." I was like, what? She's like, "You are a boy." No. I'm like, no shot. I was like, damn. So I got shot down by Addison Felix.
Oh, hey, that's kind of like being shot down like Beyonce and making it one of her songs.
Probably.
Yeah, that's pretty much like when people hear Beyonce songs on the radio, they're like, "Oh, bro, she's talking about me. She's talking about me." And it's like, are you the best thing she never had? So.
And then I saw Jenny in the weight room.
Okay.
I saw Jenny in the weight room, and I knew like. I was like, all right, cool. And I knew she was a hurdler. Everybody's like, oh, Jenny, like, it's Jenny Powell. So I was like, all right, cool. I just took the approach like, man, what are you doing? It's great, blah, 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 this and that. So, like, this was like a month effort. Like, all right, I'm just going to build up to it. So eventually I was just like, hey, Jenny, like, we should go eat somewhere. And she was like, what are you going to use, your discretion? Like,
oh my goodness. Okay, you got to record this sound bit. I'm going to send it to her. And for those of you that don't know what discretion is, that would be like a civilians using their eatery card to swipe and take somebody.
Oh, man. I was like, so that didn't work. So I got shot down by Jenny Powell and Addison Felix. All in my freshman year at USC.
Hey, but you know what? I'm trying to tell you, you literally are probably a lyric in a Beyonce song. That's what we're leaving it at.
But what if I would have never shot my shot? And she would have said, yeah, I would have been.
If you would have never shot your shot, we wouldn't even be able to name drop.
So Allison probably doesn't even remember me. Like, that was like the only time I ever seen her on campus.
Mate, probably doesn't. Probably not.
Yeah, she would. I was like, hey, Allison. She's probably like, I don't know you.
I don't know. She's a real kind. I mean, she was studying like to be a teacher. She wants to be a teacher. Her mother was a teacher. Her dad was a preacher. She comes from a solid family. So she might have some manners and remember you.
Maybe. I'm like, you remember my looker? You told me I was a little boy.
That might be a memorable moment for her because she didn't get too much time on campus talking to regular folks. So
yeah. So
I bet you were regular folk at that time.
Yeah, it was like, I just couldn't let that pass up those, but oh well. But we are on to number 6. Number 6. So you did your number 6.
I did my number 6. I made an audible. I'm going with Everson Griffin. He was in my list, and actually, yeah. So I feel real confident about that. I can make some changes, but Everson Griffin.
You're allowed to make any changes you want. This is your world. I'm just living in it.
Hey.
So my number 6 from San Diego Lincoln High School played on the original Wild Bunch. This dude was little, but he played like a beast. Held the edge down also with Big Al. I'm going to go with my man, Jimmy Gunn.
Jimmy Gunn. Oh.
It's tough. I mean, you got 2 Wild Bunches, and you got really good players.
Sorry for the sirens. That never happens in Ann Arbor, Michigan. There literally must be a cat stuck in a tree somewhere. There's nothing going on.
They're burning down the school because we'll talk about it later. I'll tell you why they're burning.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that. It's really breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a bit embarrassed that I'm on the East Coast, so I should have had it first. But I like when you kind of throw it in for me.
It was like a midday drop. It was a midday drop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, we're on to number 5. Before we go to number 5, let's talk about your favorite brand. Not only that, they changed their name. So here we go. AG1 sports drink.
AG1?
AG1. Yep.
Oh, I'm going to get that branded.
Yep, AG1. So I gave AG1 a try because, like I said, I wake up early in the morning and I wanted to eat something good. I didn't want to hit through a drive-through. And I needed to get to 9 a.m., right? So lunch is normally 11 o'clock for us. We start at 5:30, so we got to eat. I needed to get to 9 a.m. I needed to have energy. So I decided to take AG1. AG1 fills me up, makes me feel good. It also gives me a little bit that energy that I need to get through the day. When you think about it, and you're an athlete, you have to take care of your body. We know that firsthand. We live in the training room. It also is what you put in. So you have to be able to put in good stuff. That's what AG1 does. It has 75 high-quality ingredients that are daily nutrition and supports focus and strength and clarity. AG1. It's a comprehensive solution and is what you need from your supplement routine. Then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase.
What?
They even changed their website on this. Go to drinkag1.com/salute to Troy. Once again, that's drinkag1 /salute to Troy. We got to get our girl Candice some AG1.
I need some AG1, and that sounds universal. Like AG1 sounds like I'm doing some outer space intergalactic stuff. Like, what you want? I'm on that AG1.
Have you seen the commercial with Serena? Serena has an AG1 commercial.
Does she?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if Serena's looking for someone to squeeze her water bottle and have AG1 too, Serena, I got you.
There we go. Okay, so
Serena Williams was actually born in Saginaw, Michigan.
Really?
I didn't know that until I watched the movie and watched the Wikipedia. So yeah, that's like an hour north of us.
I've been to Saginaw before.
Why you been to Saginaw?
I'm
That's
sorry.
Like telling somebody you've been to Bakersfield.
I haven't been to Saginaw. I've been to where's Northwood? Where's Northwood University?
That's like to the west of, that's like Grand Rapids area. Like to
what
the
is
west
the name of that? I forgot the name of the city, but I've been to that. I've been there before.
Okay.
In the winter with snowbanks. That's the first time I've seen snowbanks. It was a football thing.
All right, sounds like it might have been a meeting a girl thing, because that sounds like who would go out there?
No. It was a football thing, and I was like, wow, like they really do get snow 4 feet high on the sidewalk. Like that's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So we're on to number 5. So number 5 for me, it's crazy because like you watch these dudes, and these dudes are like, a lot of these dudes are like you're influenced to go to USC.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on the team that won the national championship. He was also on the team that pretty much catapulted everything forward. My number 5 is Mike Patterson.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's on my list a little bit higher, but I'm yeah, we can discuss that a little bit later. We called him BKU. Dynamic player, hard worker, motivator. Seen him in the locker room, not in the locker room in that sense, seen him in the training room, seen him in off-field spaces.
Played with Mike Patterson.
You guys know him as Kenichi Udeze. Dynamic player. Played on the Pete Carroll era. What else I got for you? 3-year starter, which in that era was a big deal. Finished college with 135 tackles. You know, I had to ask my husband, is 130? He's like, yeah. I was like, I was checking because I don't know.
For a D lineman, yeah, that's a lot.
I think he might hold the school record in sacks. I don't know. 28 sacks. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
maybe. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
It's still a lot. 28 sacks is a lot.
28 sacks and a 3-year starter.
So put it like this: for him to have, and so like the people he played with is the reason why he had those sacks, though, because like he was an interior defensive lineman, and ends normally don't get sacks on early downs. They get sacks on later down. So 3rd and long, 2nd and long. That's what ends go, right? Ends normally make the quarterback step up to the big guys, and that's when those guys get the sack. So like that's yeah. And Kenichi was a part of the Wild Bunch too, right?
I believe so. And based off of my research and some insider information, an NCAA National Defensive Player of the Year. Seems like, even though I'm not an NCAA fan, they still, they hold it. So that's a huge accolade to not notice. So I'm going with BKU. And also a sentimental story. He ended up developing cancer. He was a professional athlete, and he overcame that with the transplant from his brother. So not just a regular guy, definitely a dynamic person on and off the field. We call him BKU. You guys call him Kenichi Udeze.
Yep. And this is what you also have to understand, because he's my number 4, so we're rolling in number 4.
Okay.
When we were in the weight room, we had records for weights, and it goes by weight class or whatever.
Okay.
And they have those boards up there. And he was on every single board without a. This man was a super monster,
huge human being. Like he looks like he's supposed to, like the man in Fantastic Four with all the like rocks all over him. That's what he looked like.
Yeah, so like he's a strength coach now too. So
yes,
like,
he is.
So he just stayed in it, but he had every single squat, bench press, power clean, whatever, lifting Heritage Hall up 14 times with one hand. Kenichi Udeze had it.
And can I tell you, Kenichi Udeze actually put himself number 5 on my list.
Really? Wow. Okay. That's pretty – all right.
We had some collaboration. I ran into him at the Combine, and it's always nice to run into – I ran into him and Kerry Colbert. We shot it. We just talked, I don't even know for how long. But to see people that you grew up with and see you grow up, it's just an interesting dynamic. There's no real words for it. So – there's me being sentimental. He's number 5 on my list, and he placed himself there as well.
So me and Ryan did receivers, and Kerry Colbert made my list.
Oh, yeah. If you see him off the field, he just looking kind of like a regular cornball type of guy. Keep it real. But on the field, explosive, highly intelligent receiver.
So Kerry Colbert was Steve Smith before Steve Smith.
You took the words out of my brain.
Yep. Kerry Colbert was Steve Smith before Steve Smith. So we're in our top 3. We're in our top 3. Oh no, you haven't done your 4. My 4 is Kenichi Udeze. So we're saying, so yeah, you do your 4. Go ahead.
Okay. My 4 is Sean Cody.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's low for me.
That's low?
That's low for me.
Yeah, I think it'll. Okay,
but that's your list. It's okay. I'm not knocking your list, but I'm just saying for me, just like he was like, yeah, I have Mike Patterson higher. Like, yeah, Sean Cody, that's low for me.
And he's another one part of that wild bunch. And you're right, it's hard. These could be like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1C. Like it could really line up like that. So
we could legit sit here for 2 hours and have a list of 50.
I would say, and then to be honest, like I think anyone, don't get me wrong, we have some incredible Heisman winners that have won us some national championship, but we all know that defense wins championships. And these guys are like, for the most part, a lot of them transitioned to the NFL and was able to have the same type of impact with guys just as big or stronger than them. So
right. So when we did the running backs, we thought the running backs was hard, and we're like, okay. But when you really think about it, D lineman was loaded at USC. The history of D lineman is just loaded. And we're going to forget people when people are going to throw it in the comments. There's not enough spaces. There's only 10 spaces.
In the comments. Throw in the comments. And I want a real quick story about Sean Cody. I was just a young god on the campus of USC walking down past the Lion Center, which isn't even, I don't even know if it's still there. And
it's still there,
Sean
but
Cody was like, hey, see right. Is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay. So he like pulls up his shirt. You see the gun. And he's like at this SC tattoo on his arm. And he's like, see right. What's that stand for? And I'm like, Sean Cody. He's like, you better believe it. So it was kind of cool. Like he got SC. I tatted on him. His initials are SC. It's just another great guy. Like it was always such a blessing to see these guys in these different environments and see them go out in the field and literally tear it up in the trenches. Sean Cody, another one, a stand-up guy, polite, well-mannered, but a dynamic football player as well. And he's part of that Pete Carroll at Ogeron group as well.
He is a part of that national championship group. So that was what number for you?
That was my 4.
All right, so my number 3. Here it comes. Here's the stir, everybody.
Your number 3?
My number 3. People have him classified as a linebacker, but I don't understand how he's a linebacker. He played on the end of the defense, on the end of the line of scrimmage, and stood up there. And to me, that's a defensive end. And he's also a Long Beach Poly guy. So we got 2 Long Beach Poly guys on the list.
Okay.
And you put him on your linebacker list, and I said I left him out because of this reason. I think he's a D lineman. He played D lineman in the NFL. This dude was a monster. He's legendary. Big 55, Willie McGinnis, Willie Mack.
Willie McGinnis. So that was a bit of an interesting conversation because I thought I've had some of the same feelings you did. BK put him actually number 1 on his list. And then when I went back to my boy D Reed, he was like, nah, he's classified as a linebacker. And then I went back to another nose tackle and was like, what are your thoughts? So there is some conversation about, what he is, but clearly he's a dog.
Right. So I don't care. He neither here nor there. Like he was a defensive end. He was a baller. He is the man. He had a great NFL career, excellent USC career. People remember 55 as William McGinnis, like just fast, explosive. Long Beach Poly High School, also Jackrabbit for life. Actually, I never met William McGinnis until I got to USC, and he knew I went to Poly. I never met William McGinnis at Poly. When I was at SC, I met him. He was like, "You went to Poly?" Like, yeah. Like he was like, "Yeah, I know who you are. If you need anything, let me know." Blah blah blah. Those talks. But he was like great dude. Like, and you get like the little extra, just like Herschel. When I met Herschel for the first time, Herschel was like, "Yeah, like they just the Poly connection to USC. That pipeline has been there forever." And yeah, so
is Long Beach Poly still cranking them out like they used to?
Not like they used to. Catholic schools took over out here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's your number 3?
That is my number 3.
That's tough because I thought I could have him on my list, but I was like really over people judging me, acting like I didn't know anything about football. Hey, we're talking D-line and she's putting linebackers on the list.
No, if they want to talk it, I could get on the board with them. Like I got paid to coach at the collegiate level, so we could get on the board on anybody who has a comment. Like we could legit talk football. If you're on the line of scrimmage, you're a defense lineman. I don't care how you want to classify it. William McGinnis is a D lineman. He's number 3 D lineman.
All right, so my number 3 is Darrell Russell.
Okay, he's a wild bunch 1 guy.
That's okay because he's a defensive tackle. Y'all be forgetting about the real trenches.
I did not forget about any defensive tackle. I put Titsit on there, Kenichi Udeze, and my number 2 is the inside guy. He
was brought to me by Kenichi Udeze, so I figured if he put him up above himself, then he respected him.
Yeah, no, definitely. So that's somebody that he probably met him and was like, oh, and then looked into him and was like, yep, I want to be like him or better than him. And
yeah, anybody that's going number 2 pick in the first round of NFL draft, he's all right.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So my number 2, I think this is going to put Waves in the pool too, but I don't care. I play with this dude. This dude made Ryan Khalil better. This dude won Defense Lineman of the Year, Pac-12 Defensive Player, Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. All this first-round draft pick, went to New Orleans Saints from Chino, California. This dude was a jokester. Every single place he went, he was a jokester. Straight jokester. You would never guess, you would never guess that's who he is when you see him play. He always celebrated with the big flex when he got a sack. Like, that's how he was consistently. He got penalized for it one time. Pete Carroll lost the shit, but it was all good. My number 2 is going to be Cedric Ellis.
Cedric Ellis, your number 2?
Yes.
All right, my number 2, I agree wholeheartedly 100% with what you got, but I actually got something special for you for number 1. So my number 2 is Mike Patterson.
Okay. I'm not against that. You said I had him at, 5? Mike was 5, and he was like, I got him a little – I'm not against that. Me, I think Kenichi is better than Mike. But,
really?
Yeah, but, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like –
Is he a Long Beach guy too?
No. Kenichi was just a monster in the middle. He held the middle down, and just to have 135 tackles in the middle as the interior defense lineman over your career is just amazing. Like, it is what it is. Like, nothing against it. Like they're not far off. They're top 5, but I just think Kenichi's a little bit better than Mike.
Okay, right? And maybe when having these conversations, yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I don't know. It was all very tight.
All right. Yeah. I put it like this. You play defense. You play defense up the middle, right? So your middle has to be really, really good, right? So for Kenichi to be one technique and for him to be that good and have a good linebacker, have a good safety, right? Everything starts up the middle. Like, that's just why I think Kenichi was better. Like, you get a one tech that demands a double team, your defense is pretty much rolling down easy street.
Easy street.
So
ain't nothing easy about being on that line.
It's loud in the middle. That's when people try to make DBs and put them in the box, and they say, "Hey, man, it gets loud in there." Corners don't like playing that C gap. Corners don't like playing C guys. They don't like them big 6'7" tackles barreling down on them.
All right, so we got on to our number one.
We're on to our number one. You could go ahead and give. How great is your number one shocking? You have to be careful.
This is about to be shocking. So you ready for this? I did a little bit of research. Some might say I'm biased. The facts are the facts. But I have invited a unanimous Defensive Player of the Year recipient to announce my number one. You ready for it?
Go ahead. It's kind of hard, though, because he's a Bruin, but go ahead.
That's all right. Here he is, Brian Price. A unanimous pick as a defensive lineman. Is that true?
Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year. He is.
You see how he corrected you? Like, hold on. I was the Defensive Player of the Year. Not just.
And he saw me. I was on my phone. I was on the internet. I was going through facts to try and find someone else that had been unanimous to make sure that I wasn't being biased. So go ahead and slide on in the comments if I'm incorrect. I didn't know this guy when he was that. I met him after that. So anyways, who's our number one? Crenshaw High School.
You got Cedric Ellis, right?
Yep.
That's not bad. That was my number two.
Cedric. I figured who better than to talk about somebody in the trenches. What you got about Cedric Ellis?
Just a dog. I mean, other than he went to USC. But, watching him play, he was always just holding the line of scrimmage. He'll reestablish the line of scrimmage. Real powerful, really strong player. He'll never get pushed off the line. Really did his job holding the linemen off the linebackers. It's a linebacker's dream when you D-line do that. And he was a playmaker. No line, no shine. Pass rush and pass coverage go hand in hand. So, I call myself the front line general, and that's what D linemen are. We set the tone, and that's what Cedric Ellis did. And, Mike Patterson, everybody on your list, straight dogs. But the only knock is they went to USC.
All right. No, and then when I knew, like you said, first round draft pick, I think he was taken 7th overall. A little bit smaller in stature than your typical nose tackle. And so
but he was strong.
He
was strong that day. He was 6'1", but he
ordered special dumbbells for him at USC. My strength coach told me that, like how strong he was. And so people get caught up on size at every position in football, but I always say, look at Steve Smith, the wide receiver to play for the Panthers. It's that dog in you that makes up for it. Cedric Ellis, he's 6 feet. But, it's a game of leverage in the trenches. And so
and then he was also explosive too. That's what people forget, how explosive he was. So he was super strong and a hell of explosive. So like that right there, you already have a new line of scrimmage, right? And people don't understand like the reason why Ryan Khalil was so good is because 4 days out of the week he has to go up against Ced, right? So like now you got an All-American center and All-American one tech because these two are pretty much battling out 4 days out of the week for the next 3 years, right? So they like that right there just shows you like how good that team was.
And on a personal note, he's the only person I've seen that has a bigger wingspan on the back than this guy right here. Not to mention, he's got Crenshaw tatted on his back, and Cedric's got Chino Hills tatted on his back. I had to
Chino Hills
wearing the Vans and the Chino Hills with the Dickies, like all the time.
So since you got your husband on here, I have to tell you this story. This is a personal story. So my dad and Coach Garrett were like really good friends. So like, yeah. So I played Pop Warner at Baldwin. Like I lived in LA. Yeah. Like I grew up on 48th and Avalon, did everything at Rancho Park, basketball, baseball, everything there. So when it was time to come to high school, Garrett was like pretty much telling everybody, oh, they're going to Crenshaw. Like the Rose are going to Crenshaw. It's all set in stone. And I was like, all right, I'll just go whatever. My mom wanted me to go to Sarah. I got kicked out of Sarah summer school because it was like we can only be on one part. I was like, nope, I don't want to do this. And so it was like, well, let me try Paulie. Garrett was pissed. He pretty much was like, man, they selling out. They belong at Crenshaw. They should have went to Crenshaw. Like,
I love Coach Garrett. I just talked to him last week.
How's he doing?
He's doing great, man. They won the state championship last year, and the team was really small. Crenshaw only has about 500 students now.
Yeah.
They made other high schools and people left. And, man, to win a championship with the team he had, man, it shows how great of a coach he is. He'll make you laugh, but he gives you what you need. He'll straighten you out. Man, you either love him or you hate him. I know recruiters couldn't stand him. You'll hear a lot of stories about people that can't stand him, but me personally, I love G, man.
Garrett was a good dude. Coach Garrett was a really good dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had to bring on, and if there's anyone that wants to drop in the comments, I did my research, unanimously voted. That means other schools voted for him. That means all the schools. That means schools that recruited him to come there and he turned them down and they still voted for him. That's what unanimous means. So this is your unanimous Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year.
I was about to go to SC. I was close.
You should have went.
I just wanted to get a shovel in my hand and help build a foundation to a team. It's kind of like how a lot of guys are going to Alabama or the team that wins, just so they can get an easy championship or kind of go to the league easier. SC was stacked at every position. It wasn't that I was scared to compete. I remember Ken Norton and Pete Carroll was like, "Oh, if you don't come here, you scared to compete with the best," and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, since y'all the best, I'm going to play against y'all, dog, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I never beat you guys. We never beat you guys as a team, but, man, I went ham every time I played y'all. CJ Gable, first play of the game, made him fumble, TFL.
Y'all did beat us. Y'all beat us.
I wasn't there, though. I wasn't there.
Okay, I was about to say y'all beat us that year, my freshman year.
Yeah, I wasn't there yet.
Okay,
when that game was turned up.
Yeah. So just to get you off, I got to tell you my number one. So my number one is Sean Cody.
Okay.
Sean Cody, he's all right.
So like I said earlier, right? So in order for Mike, and your husband could attest to this, right? So like. Long downs is defensive ends, right? Long downs is when defensive ends get sacked. Second and long, third and long, they put the Jets on, right? Other than that, they're pretty much setting the edge and make sure nothing gets outside of them. In order for Mike Patterson and Kenichi to be as good as they were, that means they made the quarterback step up. And that's how they were able to get all those sacks, right? And, like, I coached defense lines for 2 years, right? And I always told the interior guys, like, look, getting to the sack is all the work. The sack is easy. The quarterback just walks right into your hands. But all the work you got to get to the sack, that's where all the work happens. You got to put a move for a move, have a counter with a counter. But you get a defense in that constantly makes the quarterback step up and walk right into you. I mean, half your work is pretty much done. And I think Sean Cody was one of the reasons why they were able to be that good, right? Sean Cody and Lawrence, because Lawrence was younger than Sean, but those dudes, like you put Lawrence on the weak side, you put Sean on the strong side, but you make that quarterback step up consistently. Your work is easy.
Yeah. Our man, we got a D tackle that's doing that, putting pressure up the middle, and the quarterback
and make them bounce. Yep.
And he'll run right into the end. So it's a collective, a group effort. You know what I'm saying? You just I used to always compete with my teammates. Like, I bet I get off the ball first. You know what I'm saying? But whoever get the sack, man, I know you want those stats. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, as long as you're out there having fun and everybody eating, man, that's all that matters. But
yep, just get to the ball, create a party at the ball.
Yeah, facts.
AG1. All right. Your title? How should I address you, Mr. Price, as the unanimous Defensive Player of the Year?
Wait, don't send them away. Do you want to talk? Well, we're going to talk SC football here. They released the Big 10 schedule for 2024.
And let's talk about that, because last year UCLA was supposed to play at the Big House. They had to pay to not play.
Well,
so they thought they started the schedule, so I want to.
No, but we're going to talk about the 2024 USC schedule, and so they got the Big 10. They have a big one on their schedule. They actually have a big one, but I'm going to go through it the way that
this is real.
This is real. I'm going to go through it the way they have it on here. I don't know if this is particular order. So at home, they play Illinois Fighting Illini. It is what it is. This is 2024 now. This isn't next.
Okay,
this isn't this upcoming. They play Iowa Hawkeyes. That one will be interesting because Iowa's known for their defense and low scoring games. So that won't be interesting. On the road, they have to go to Maryland. They have to go to Northwestern.
Wait, when they're
There's
just
no
saying
dates
they
yet.
don't have dates yet, huh?
They don't have dates yet. So they go to Maryland. They play Northwestern. Right now, they have to go to Pennsylvania and they play Penn State Nittany Lions.
Oh, that's gonna be rough.
That's going to be a big one. That's going to be a good one. Also, I'm saving this one for last. There's one more home game, but I didn't say it yet. They play Wisconsin at home.
Okay.
They play Purdue in Indiana, and then they play UCLA in the Rose Bowl. Right now, I will tell you this: I don't like the fact that they have 2025 out, and they play UCLA. I don't know any particular order, so they might just be home and away the way they did it.
Oh, I see.
They also play Michigan at home in 2024.
Yeah, I'm excited for both teams to be coming to the Big 10. I think that'd be real cool. But I don't know. You think they're going to travel, like, come out a day earlier just so they can get acclimated? I mean, that's a long travel, West is a factor. But, football is football.
Yeah, like I'm just picturing them playing Northwestern. So Northwestern is in Chicago.
It is in Chicago. So I normally the way it happens, right? When you play in a different time zone, you normally the day before, and to get acclimated to time, you practice Friday at a high school, do all that stuff, do all the walkthrough, which I think they do. But so my thing is, like, I don't think travel matters. I also don't think weather really matters unless it's legit snowing. If it's cold, that doesn't matter because it gets cold in Oregon, Washington, all that stuff. Like it gets cold there.
Y'all don't get it's cold. Bro. That's why I excel.
It's different,
But
your chest is being stung by 1,000,000,001 bees.
But it makes a difference to like game plan. When it's cold, the footballs get harder. They're already hard, man. I know a lot of guys at SC a little soft. You know what I mean?
Slow down, cut us off here. Slow down.
I can say, but I think all those things are factors, but of course, mind over matter. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you just go out there and compete.
And I think the dynamic of the recruiting is going to be different, right? So now, back in the day, to pull a guy from Michigan to USC, you didn't have to come to Michigan to get talent. But now you're going to be able to be like, I can mix it. You can get these big corn-fed guys that'll come out to the West Coast and balance and stuff. So
right. So then also, but see, I don't think they need to change their style of football, right? Because Ohio State practically does it too. Like, I'm faster than you. I'm better, more athletic than you. I don't think SC necessarily has to change their style of football for the Big 10. Like, SC owns the Rose Bowl. Like, they have the most Rose Bowls in the history of the Rose Bowl. Like, and they've been playing Big 10 schools forever. I beat Michigan. I beat Illinois with Juice Williams. I beat Penn State. Like, there's not – I don't have to –
You out here fired.
But I'm just saying I don't have to change – we didn't have to change the way we recruited or anything. And we played the top Big 10 school at that time, and we still beat them. Right. So I don't think that they have to change their recruiting, but there are things that do come into factors like travel. If you have to go to Maryland and then you have to go to Pennsylvania back-to-back weeks, that wears on you, right? That's where you start to get tired. Now, if you go to Penn State and it decides to snow and you get 3 inches of snow, snow's an equalizer. It's harder to run in snow than, to run on cold turf. You could adjust to that. But when you have snow on the ground, things start to get a little bit different. That's where I think that it becomes an issue. So, like, back-to-back East Coast games become an issue, but volleyball people do that shit all the time. Like,
basketball all the time.
Right. They travel and then they play somebody on the East Coast and then they do it all the time. It's not that big a deal as far as that. I think just the consistent travel back to that, that's what I want to see. How do they space out those games? Like, are they going to send them to Penn State and then send them to Maryland? And all of a sudden, SC gets upset by Maryland? Well, it makes sense because they were on the East Coast in the time zone. Do they stay on the East Coast and just have two people from SAS come over and they do study hall, right? They do it for basketball. When they're traveling for basketball, they just have a tutor pretty much for a national championship. Like, are they going to stay over there? Do they treat it like a pro approach? Like, we'll just stay on the East Coast, find some place. We'll be in a hotel, right? Like, money is no longer an issue in college athletics. Like, we can afford it. So, like, is that going to happen? So those are the things that matter with the Big Ten. But on the flip side, them being a Big Ten is way better because now they're allowed to lose a game. And my biggest thing was SC was never allowed to lose a game. If I went to Oregon and I lost a game, I still have a chance of making the college football playoff, right? If I went to any other school in the Pac-12, if I lose a game, I still have a chance to make a college football playoff. And I go to SC, I lose a game, they're out of it. There's no shot. This is the only time they lost a game and they still had a chance to go. They have a chance to lose a game. Well, they have a chance to lose the game to a contender and still get a chance to go to the college football playoff, right? They can't lose to Maryland or Iowa and be like, we're going to make it. But if they go to the horseshoe and they lose to Ohio State, that's fine. They just have to win out the rest of the season, probably play in the Big Ten championship and get a chance to go back to the college football playoff. This is better all around, I think, for them and the national notoriety. Like, they're playing on East Coast time now, so people are going to see them on primetime TV. Before
until 11 o'clock at night watching what's going on the West Coast.
Right, and then the Pac-12 had these dudes playing at like 9 o'clock in the morning just so they could play on the East Coast. Now they could legit play a noon kickoff on the East Coast and people are watching them because they're on primetime TV and they have one of the biggest contracts.
They do that noon on the East Coast. You got to remember how it's going to feel to them. It's going to be 9 o'clock.
It's going to be 9 o'clock. Yeah, you're right.
And so I know to a lot of people, it don't matter, but that do matter. I mean, like, you just remember getting up and doing morning practice, camp and all that. Like, you feel like yawning, got sleep in your eyes. And then you got some guys that don't matter because they real militant. But a lot of guys, they ain't going because I had a friend who played for the Seahawks, and like his first year there, they played the Falcons in the divisional round of the playoffs, and they sent them to Atlanta. Well, not sent them; they had to go to Atlanta because they were the lower seed. They went to Atlanta, and they played Atlanta for the middle day game, which was like 1 o'clock here. It's like a 10 o'clock start for the Seahawks, and that kind of throws you off, especially for a playoff game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was kind of off. So that does come into play. So those things do matter. Like, and so it goes back to, like, if they do have back-to-back East Coast games, do they stay on the East Coast, right? Why not do it? Like, here's my thing too. You let basketball go to Puerto Rico and all that stuff and have all these tournaments. And then when football does something like that, it becomes a big deal. That's my only problem with it. The best thing to do is for them to stay on the East Coast. They do it in the pros, right? I mean, if they're a West Coast team, they have 2 back-to-back East Coast games. They just stay on the East Coast and just practice over there and just pretty much stay on that time zone. Let them do it for college football. Missing a week of class in college really isn't going to bother anything. Like, we've all probably missed a week of class or so.
No, we missed a whole COVID year and it didn't bother me. So it's fine. Right. No, it'll definitely be interesting. Obviously, we made Ann Arbor a piece of our home, and we're about 4 miles from the stadium. I mean, football is here. It is everything, but it will be nice to be rocking a USC sweatshirt in Ann Arbor. They played Michigan at SC. They play them at the Coliseum. I will be there. Unless USC, who's UCLA playing that week? We might have to divide and conquer.
Well, we have to wait a year. So this is 2024, and then the following year in 2025, they go to Ohio State, I believe. Yeah, they do. They go to Ohio State. This might.
But have they decided that are they going to keep our USC UCLA rivalry? So they'll be in like a North and a South division.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're. The way the schedule looks, I don't know if they're doing divisions. I think they're doing it like my first year at SC, where like you play a team and then they drop them off the schedule, and then you don't play them for like another 2 years or so. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know about divisions. So when they
this Michigan, people think USC UCLA is a rivalry, bro. Michigan Ohio State, they will literally like you become a hostage and be gone with duct tape somewhere. Like it's real out here.
Can't you? They cover all the O's, right? The week of the game
on their campus. I just stay away from it. But it's legit. Like people calling each other. Like I heard him call his wife a prostitute. I'm like, bro, she doesn't know what to say. What's the deal? So they be out here really coming for it. And then he wears his UCLA stuff. You actually go to school there? I'm like, did you actually pay to go to Michigan State? And people, so it'll be interesting for us for sure.
So so that's the whole thing. Like it's better for both schools. So to answer your question though, they were trying to keep the California rivalry. So like SC has this thing like they have to play Stanford and Cal, and UCLA I think has it too.
Right.
Like they have to play Stanford and Cal every year. I think they're trying to keep it to where they play Stanford and Cal preseason, and then they go into the Big 10. But the USC UCLA rivalry is staying. So I think that's going to be the last game. Like you can't get rid of that rivalry. Like I don't care what you say. Like that's kind of a big deal for us too. People don't really understand, but like rivalry week is a big deal. Like
it's a big deal because my husband reminds me you didn't play football at USC. I was like, okay.
So a lot of people, we're the only 2 schools in the nation when it comes to rivalry week that tapes our mascots. So you show it to other people. No, seriously. So you show it to other people, and they're like, "Why do they do that?" Like because they will go and mess up the mascot. Like like it's a big deal. Like people like
we got a big brewing on campus and. People from SC come and throw paint on it, so they put like this big old like box around it, pretty much.
I never seen Tommy the Trojan boxed up,
but they taped them during rivalry. They put that black tape around them, and those dudes had to sit out front and watch them the whole time.
Oh, I have seen that. But when I first got on campus, for those of you that aren't familiar, they used to have the bear, and they would drag it on their bicycles and drag their bicycle, and I was like, oh my god, oh my goodness,
yeah. I didn't like that. I didn't like that for other reasons, like, but because it was in the news. That's the thing that got me too. So like my first year when I saw it, I stepped on somebody's beer on the bike, and like they had to explain to me like, hey, like you gotta chill. But yeah, I don't think they do it anymore because of the whole George Floyd thing and thing like that. But yeah, I didn't like that one.
I had my favorite shirt that we used to remember. I don't know, they used to come around Cardinal Gardens and Century and sell fake shirts, and they used to be like UCLA, and then they would be like make love with a Trojan
and don't ruin your life and things like that.
Yeah. Those are the best. Those are the best.
And then they would be like the shirt the shirt that had like USC and the S was the $, and then it said UCLA and the C was a cent because.
You know, my favorite one is to say, when I'm done with a Trojan, I flush it down the toilet.
Definitely. Hey, so Candice has been good. We got him out. So we covered all positions with Ryan. We did positions. So we're at our final position. So we have 2 more shows. No, 3 more. Not total, but like countdown. Yeah. So next week is quarterbacks. So we're at the
pinnacle. I know in my day.
We're at quarterbacks. After that, we'll do all-time team. So we'll pick 22 guys. You're starting defense, you're starting offense.
Okay.
And then we just got an idea. We're going to do the top 5 games all-time USC history.
Ooh.
So there's some big games. But this has been fun. I've always enjoyed it. Everybody loves it. We're going to keep it flowing. This has been the Salute to Troy podcast. Live free, fight on. Enjoy that weather out there in Michigan.
I can't wait to do my AG greetings though. What's up?
Yeah. Where's the AG1?
AG1, I'm gonna be like R2D2. I'm an AG1, bro. What?
Definitely. Good deal. It was good. You guys live free. Fight on. We'll see you guys next time.